The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the internet just completely stopped.
It really did, because the headline we are looking at today says it all. Kim Kardashian finally replaces Kanye with a billionaire athlete.
Such a massive shift in the cultural landscape.
Truly. Welcome to StarScope Report. I am Jordan.
And I am Jamie. Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
Exactly. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame. And today's deep dive is, it's honestly fascinating.
Oh, it is masterclass.
Right, because picture two completely different universes. In one, you have the world of Formula One. It is this universe of, meticulously engineered machines, high-speed danger, carbon fiber.
Yeah, a world where absolute precision is everything. Like a fraction of a second defines your entire legacy.
Exactly. And then, in the other universe, you have the multi-billion-dollar empire of reality television and influencer culture, which is, hyper-curated, highly controlled, and built entirely on managing global attention.
Right. They operate on completely different laws of physics.
They really do.
Wow.
So when seven-time F1 champion Lewis Hamilton and mogul Kim Kardashian were spotted on bicycles together in New York City, PR experts didn't just see a casual date.
No, not at all. They saw a...
They really are.
Yeah.
But before we get into the backlash, we have to look at the timeline. Because the way this was introduced to you and me, the public, it was a masterclass in conditioning.
It wasn't an accident. Nothing at this level is an accident.
Right. So, fun fact, they've actually known each other for a decade. Like, Lewis even spent Easter with the Kardashian family back in 2015.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it went back that far.
Yeah. But the rumors for this specific romance, they actually ignited on New Year's Eve 2025 at Kate Hudson's party in Aspen.
Okay, Aspen on New Year's Eve. Very on brand.
Totally. And then in February, they are at Super Bowl 60. And they're seen side by side in this luxury suite. Kim is wearing this black fur and a bejeweled choker, and Lewis is wearing a black diamond earring.
Just incredibly cinematic visuals. I mean, by the time the Super Bowl happens, the internet is officially paying attention.
But the thing is, they didn't confirm anything. They just, let people talk.
Right.
And then in March, at the Japan Grand Prix, they both happen to be in Tokyo. And they both post these matching sunset photos from the exact same location on the exact same evening, but crucially, not together.
See, that is the slow drip right there. When you look at the timeline from New Year's Eve leading into the spring, you have to ask, why move that slowly? Why not just step out on a red carpet?
Yeah, I mean, what is the actual PR strategy there?
Because a red carpet is just too abrupt. It invites immediate, intense scrutiny. When you're dealing with brands of this magnitude, you don't just announce a relationship right. You soft launch it to test the waters.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the shared suite, the matching sunset photos, it allows their respective PR teams to just monitor the public sentiment. They get to see how the fans react, how the sponsors react.
While maintaining plausible deniability.
Exactly. If the reaction is a disaster, they can just say, oh, we're old friends. It is a highly calculated risk assessment.
They're just letting the internet sleuths do the heavy lifting for them.
100%.
Which brings us to June 1st, the hard launch.
Yes, the infamous Instagram post.
Right. So Kim posts this multi-photo carousel on her Instagram, and she captions it with just a single understated word, lately.
So casual.
So casual. But tucked away in that carousel is a selfie of them riding bikes in New York City, along with this video where Kim actually crashes her bike right into Lewis.
And that specific video choice is just brilliant brand management.
How so?
Well, think about how we usually see them. Lewis is usually in a fireproof racing suit, surrounded by engineers, hyper-focused, and Kim is in, archival high fashion, surrounded by glam squads.
Right, they always look flawless.
Exactly. So by choosing a blurry, kind of chaotic video of a clumsy bike crash, they immediately humanize themselves. It takes two people whose combined wealth makes them essentially untouchable and makes them look goofy and relatable.
Wow. Yeah, I look at a post like that as sort of a pressure release valve. Like by giving the public this unpolished, intimate moment on their own terms, they completely release the pressure of the paparazzi hunting them down for that first official photo.
Yeah, they starve the tabloids of the exclusive by just giving it away for free, but they do it in a way that perfectly serves their image.
It was brilliant. And if you are loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you are subscribed because we have got even crazier stories ahead, including how you actually schedule a date when you're a billionaire.
Oh, the logistics are wild.
They really are.
Yeah.
Because once that pressure valve was released, the floodgates just opened. We saw them leaving Kim's Broadway production, Fear of 13, walking hand in hand to their SUV.
Yeah.
But then there was a very notable scheduling conflict. Kim actually skipped Lewis's Miami Grand Prix.
Which was a big deal at the time.
Right, especially because, for context, he placed 6th there behind the 19-year-old winner, Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah, not his best race.
No. And Kim stayed in L.A. to support her daughter North's new EP pop-up, A Forever. But any whispers that she wasn't supporting his racing career were completely shut down at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, that Monaco appearance was a statement piece in itself.
She arrived by boat with her sister Khloe and friend Simon Huck, wearing an all-black leather Gucci racing suit.
Incredible outfit.
She totally stole the spotlight in the paddock.
Yeah.
And that is where Lewis finally gave the press the soundbite they'd been hunting for.
Yeah, during a fan Q&A, right.
Exactly. He was asked about looking happier this year. And he talked about his massive transition to Ferrari, how welcoming the team has been. And then he explicitly credited Kim. He actually called her his girlfriend and said she supports him every day.
It is worth looking at what this relationship accomplishes for both of them professionally, even if the romance itself is entirely genuine.
Right. The sources like Entertainment Tonight said Kim feels she has finally met her equal.
Yeah, and that he brings her a sense of peace. But structurally, this does a lot of heavy lifting. For Kim, aligning with a globally respected, highly decorated athlete, it adds this layer of international prestige. She is tying her brand to a legacy of elite performance.
And what does it do for Lewis? I mean, he's already a motorsport legend.
It accelerates his cultural footprint in the United States.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, as he transitions to Ferrari, which is a massive high-stakes chapter in his career, dating a Kardashian elevates him from a famously private European athlete into a full-blown American pop culture fixture.
That makes a ton of sense.
And
it expands his marketability far beyond just the racetrack.
Exactly.
But throwing millions at PR strategy and, optimizing brand synergy is actually the easy part of this relationship.
Very true.
If you are listening to this and thinking, okay, but how do they actually go on a date? Like, what does that look like? We have to look at the financial leverage this requires.
Because when the sources say Kim has found her equal, they are talking about a very exclusive tax bracket.
Oh, yeah. Let's transition into the jaw-dropping logistics of their private lives, because the numbers are staggering.
We are talking about the absolute stratosphere of wealth, where normal rules of compromise just simply do not apply.
Right. Let me put the numbers from the sources on the table. Kim is currently worth $1.9 billion. Her shapewear brand, SKIMS, is valued at between $4 and $5 billion.
Which is astronomical.
To understand that velocity, SKIMS surpassed $1 billion in annual net sales in just 6 years. It took Spanx 20 years to reach that milestone.
Wow. Which just demonstrates the sheer, fast-moving commercial leverage she brings to the table.
Exactly. And then on the other side, you have Sir Lewis Hamilton. He's worth $450 million. His recent move to Ferrari secured a $60 million base salary per year.
Just his base salary.
Right. And when you combine that with endorsements from Dior and Tommy Hilfiger in 2025, he became the first F1 driver in history to cross $100 million in a single year. Together, they are a $2.15 billion couple.
And when you combine wealth at that scale, it fundamentally changes the mechanics of how two people interact.
It's essentially air traffic control dating.
That's the perfect way to phrase it.
The sources detailed this date they had at Estelle Manor in the Cotswolds in the UK, where rooms are 3,200 pounds a night. Now, if you are wondering how two billionaires casually meet up for a weekend, they don't just share a calendar invite.
Yeah, no.
Kim arrived in her $150 million Gulfstream private jet. Lewis arrived an hour later by helicopter from London. Between them, they had a total of 6 bodyguards.
I mean, how do you even negotiate that structurally? Do their respective family offices have to sit down and coordinate airspace?
That is exactly what happens.
It's wild. You have teams of fixers, security liaisons, aviation coordinators, all syncing up like a military operation.
Right.
At this echelon of wealth, convenience is the ultimate luxury. They don't have to argue about whose house to live in or who has to commute. They simply engineer their empires to overlap.
Which is just, it's wild to think about.
It is. Like, if Kim needs to be in London for a massive SKIMS expansion, it's not an inconvenience because Lewis already owns a $43.9 million townhouse there.
Oh, wow.
Right. Or, if Lewis is racing in the Middle East, Kim's team can easily launch a pop-up event in Dubai. They possess the resources to mold the physical world around their relationship rather than molding their relationship to fit the constraints of the real world.
And they are molding their families together, too.
Hmm.
The sources show photos from a recent lakeside family holiday. Lewis was out there doing water sports and motorbiking with Kim's 4 kids, North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm.
Yeah, they really seem to be blending their lives.
And Kim's sister, Khloe, have been very vocal in the press, explicitly stating that Lewis is the kind of partner Kim deserves. But honestly, the absolute best detail illustrating this crazy world building is from Kim's Hulu show.
Oh, the renovation scene, yes.
Yes. So before the hard launch, she was filming a segment where she's in the middle of renovating one of her properties. And she is looking at the architectural plans and jokes to her team, whereas they his side. If you build it, he will come.
And the punchline to that moment is just incredible.
Lewis Hamilton literally arrived at her door in a helicopter shortly after. You cannot script reality TV better than that.
You really can't.
But wait until you hear what came next. Because while the tabloids are celebrating and their families are blending, the real friction of this story isn't happening on the tarmac or in the VIP suites. It's happening in the comment sections.
Yeah. The fan backlash is severe, and it is entirely rooted in a clash of brand identities.
It really is. We spent a lot of time in the Lewis Hamilton subreddit. This is a massive community of his most dedicated supporters, and the overarching sentiment isn't just surprise, it's betrayal.
A deep sense of betrayal.
The fans are arguing that his association with the Kardashian brand fundamentally dilutes his legacy. They are pointing to a massive, glaring contradiction. Over the years, Lewis has built a reputation as a serious activist. He poured $20 million into his Mission 44 Foundation to boost diversity in motorsport. He is an outspoken vegan, and he heavily champions environmentalism.
And then, you contrast that with the Kardashian brand, which his critics heavily associate with rampant overconsumption, the promotion of unrealistic beauty standards, and very specifically, the wearing of animal skins.
Right. We're impartially reporting this, but you can see the friction. One Reddit user pointed out how deeply hypocritical it feels for fans to see him advocate for animal rights while dating someone who frequently wears exotic furs.
Yeah, they are not holding back at all.
They really aren't. And the fans are actually weaponizing Lewis's own words against him. They've dug up this clip from the Jay Shetty podcast from January 2023. In the interview, Lewis is discussing the massive disparity between the rich and the poor. And he says, on tape, you shouldn't be able to have billions. There should be a limit to how much you can have, because there's enough to go around for everyone.
Which is, that's a very tough quote to defend when you are currently orchestrating helicopter drop-offs to meet a woman whose net worth is almost $2 billion.
Exactly. The Reddit users are ruthlessly mocking the clip. One person commented, "The call is coming from inside the house."
Ouch.
Yeah. They feel like he wore the persona of the socially conscious athlete, and the second he had the chance, he tossed aside to date the ultimate symbol of extreme American wealth.
What we are seeing here is the danger of a parasocial expectation.
A parasocial expectation.
Yeah. For anyone unfamiliar with the term, a parasocial relationship is essentially a one-sided psychological bond. Fans feel they personally know a celebrity, and because of that, they feel owed a certain level of consistency.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. These fans bought into Lewis the activist just as much as they bought into Lewis the driver. When his private romantic choices seem to directly contradict his very public advocacy, the fans experience a genuine sense of whiplash. They feel like that activism was just marketing.
And adding fuel to that fire is the fact that the press is dragging up old ghosts. Later in the episode, I promised a shocking twist. Well, here it is. The sources highlight resurfaced rumors from 2015 that Lewis actually dated Kim's younger sister, Kendall Jenner.
Oh, right. A detail the internet has absolutely refused to let go of.
Never. It was at the Monaco Grand Prix, and Kendall was photographed wearing Lewis's signature gold chain.
Yeah, I remember those photos.
Lewis completely denied it at the time. He went on E! News, said they were just friends, praised her maturity, and really tried to kill the story. But now, it's back.
Of course it is.
So the narrative his fans are dealing with isn't just about wealth inequality or veganism. It's the messy optics of him dating the older sister of someone he was heavily linked to a decade ago.
It creates a narrative that he is getting swept up in reality TV drama, which is the exact opposite of the focused, precise image he projects on the track.
It really is. But let me push back on this fan outrage for a second. If you are listening to this and wondering why people care so much about who a driver dates, I think we are holding athletes to an impossible standard here.
How do you mean?
Well, it feels a bit like getting mad at your favorite socially conscious indie rock musician because they started dating a mainstream pop star. Are fans demanding an impossible standard of ideological purity from Lewis in his private life?
That is the core debate. You have to validate the fans' disappointment because when you build a brand on social justice, accountability comes with the territory. But conversely, you have to look at the human element.
Right. He is a person.
Exactly. Lewis Hamilton is a 41-year-old man. As several defenders in those exact same Reddit threads pointed out, his personal life doesn't automatically erase his philanthropic legacy.
That's a very fair point.
Right. Dating a billionaire doesn't undonate the $20 million he put into Mission 44. It doesn't undo the actual work he has done to diversify his sport.
So we are just watching the public try to reconcile two things that don't easily fit into a neat little box.
Precisely. It's the friction between two highly distinct, massively powerful brands trying to coexist in the same space, and the internet is just struggling to process the nuance of that.
Which makes this such a fascinating case study in human behavior. Because at the end of the day, whether you are worth $2 billion in coordinating private jets or you're just a normal person trying to navigate the dating scene, the friction between your on-paper ideals and who you actually fall in love with is a universal experience.
It really is. We all have that list of what we think we want, and then reality steps in.
Yeah. It is a stark reminder that we are all judged by the company we keep. It's just that most of us don't have to deal with that judgment on a global stage. Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next on our show, because we will definitely be keeping an eye on this.
And that leaves us with a provocative thought to mull over, especially when you consider that Jay Shetty podcast clip being used as a weapon against him.
Right.
In an era where every single, quote, every podcast appearance and every personal choice a public figure makes is permanently archived on the internet, is it even possible for someone to evolve, change their mind, or simply live a complex, contradictory human life without being permanently branded a hypocrite?
That is a question that goes way beyond Formula One and reality TV. You have been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.